Today, I'm going to be showing you guys the whole truth and the whole story of the cesium-137 incident in Goiânia. First, we have to start with an important event that had a big part in this incident, and is one of the reasons that the whole city of Goiânia, Brazil, did not get destroyed on September 13, 1987. Chernobyl, one of the most famous radioactive incidents that ever happened in the whole world, that ended a whole city in Ukraine. But today, I'm not going to be talking about that. Today, I'm going to be talking about the incident in Goiânia. First, we have to start with the two important pieces of this whole story. And the name of those two pieces are Roberto dos Santos Alves and Wagner Mota Pereira. Now, you are probably wondering who those are and why are they so important to the story. It all started when a hospital building was being demolished and all their equipment were thrown in a junkyard nearby. And on September 13 of 1987, the lives of everyone that lived in Goiânia was going to change. Roberto dos Santos and Wagner Mota noticed some of the equipment on this junkyard, a huge X-ray machine that weighed more than 220 pounds. What they did was they got a construction cart and put a huge machine on there and took it to a small pawn shop so that they could get some extra cash. But when it all seemed perfect, there was a problem that no one would know after 3 days. When Devair, the owner of the pawn shop, got this machine, he just put it to the side and continued going throughout his day. Then, around 8 p.m., after the shop was already closed, he went and took a look onto that huge piece that he got that day. When he went to take a look, he saw a small capsule open up with a blue glowing element, the cesium-137. When he saw that beautiful glowing powder, he got excited, so he took that capsule and took home by bus. Now, there's one little problem on this incident. When the cesium-137 is exposed, it starts to spread radiation wherever it goes, and even a small amount on the air is able to kill dozens of people because of the radiation on the cesium-137. Because of that, when Devair, the guy with the capsule of cesium, started going home in the bus, he spread the radiation in a 5-mile range. And whoever passed that 5-mile range radius would get infected with radiation. So when he got home, he talked with his wife and his daughter. They were having dinner. So he showed the beautiful material to his family. And they touched and even put some on their faces and their bodies. But the worst thing happened to his daughter. Leite das Neves got some of that powder in her hands and went back to eating with her hands. So Devair started to show the material to all the people near him, friends and family. In the next day, his daughter started to have nausea, vomiting, and fever. So his wife and the girl's aunt, Maria Gabriela, started to questioning herself on why her niece would be like that. So she talked with her husband, and the next day they thought one of the reasons that happening with his daughter would be because of the mysterious material that he brought home. So the next day they took the material to the health surveillance division, which means that the radiation was spreading more and more around the city. When they get there, the professionals didn't really know what was it. So they started to call people to figure it out what was that. When the physician Walter Mendes Ferreira got there with his radioactive machine, the machine showed the max rate of radiation that could possibly be in the machine. So he got another machine thinking that there was a problem with the first machine. But no, unfortunately, it was not a mistake. When they discovered it, everyone got in shock. So they contacted the local police to evacuate every place that this material could have been that he could have been at. And those next 2 days, the city of Goiânia would be the center of the world. The residents of Goiânia were in danger. So they reached out to the National Commission on Nuclear Energy to understand more about the cesium-137 and started an operation called Emergency Radioactive Plan, which consists in getting to most experts on this topic. possible: doctors, researchers, and more. So this first action they took was to shut down the whole building of the health surveillance, where there was so much radiation. And they had a really good idea of putting everyone on that radius of where the material got close to in a stadium so that they can get tested. And if they were positive with even a little bit of radiation, they would get a bath of hot water and ethanoic acid that helped with the removal of the radiation. More than 113,000 people got monitored, and on record, around 120 people got affected by radiation. 11 of them with a severe risk of death. One of them was the 6-year-old Lady das Neves. She was sent to the Marcílio Dias Hospital in Rio de Janeiro, where she died, and the other 3 people, Maria Gabriela, Israel Batista dos Santos, and Admilson Alves de Souza. This incident was really unexpected and really important to the history because it gives us so much information about radiation and sanitation we didn't know at the time. The Assistance Center for Radiation Accidents was created on 2011 on a purpose to help emotionally and physically everyone that got affected by this terrible accident. And it's also used as a museum for the cesium-137 incident, where you can find pictures, documents, and newspapers from the time that it happened. And this is the story of the biggest radioactive cases in the whole world. But I didn't choose this story just to be a simple story and something that people are just gonna forget in 5 minutes. I chose this story because I lived it, my mom lived it, my dad lived it. And I get emotional to this story because of everything that the people that from my city had to go through because of this incident. People from Guyana often got and still get discriminated by other people from other countries or other states. And when I got to Brazil, my mom told me this story. And she told me this story because we lived right in front of the Lady das Neves Radio Accident Assistance Center. Yes, the one that helped with everyone that got affected by radiation. So every time I listen to this story, it keeps getting to my head on how I have people around me that lived a really important part on history of Guyana and the country of Brazil